One wears steel-toed boots. The other wears noise-canceling headphones. One's day starts under a kitchen sink. The other's starts with Slack notifications. One works with copper and grit. The other with code and caffeine. A plumber and a programmer. Two skilled professionals. Two completely different worlds. But here's what they both have in common. They solve problems. One stops leaks. The other fixes logic loops. One keeps the water flowing. The other keeps the data moving. But the world is changing fast. AI is rewriting industries. Automation is eliminating roles by the minute. And what used to be a safe job might not be so safe anymore. So that raises the question, not who's smarter, not who makes more right now, but in the long run, who has the job that's built to last? In this episode, we'll break down the skills, the risks, the market shifts, and uncover a truth that might surprise you. Stick around, because by the end of this story, you might just see that the future doesn't belong to who's faster with a keyboard, but who's still willing to pick up a wrench. Meet Marco. He doesn't sit in meetings. He doesn't check metrics. He doesn't spend hours optimizing a landing page split test. He shows up in the real world, in basements, crawl spaces, commercial kitchens. Marco's day starts early, before the sun, before most alarms go off. He tosses his gear in the truck, grabs a coffee, and reviews his service calls like a surgeon checking charts. He doesn't carry a laptop. He carries a pipe wrench, a torch, a pressure gauge, a sewer camera. He walks into homes where panic is in the air, toilets that won't flush, pipes that exploded in the middle of the night, hot water tanks leaking into laundry rooms. And while everyone else is Googling how to fix it, Marco's already there, diagnosing the problem, hands deep in it, solving what can't be solved with a Google search. You can't automate intuition. And this work, it's filled with it. Every house is different. Every job is a puzzle. What looks like a simple clog might be a collapsed pipe buried beneath concrete. Marco doesn't just follow instructions. He reads the building like a story. He listens for the whisper in the wall. He solves it in real time, on site, on instinct, with tools in hand. And when it's done, he gets no badge, no headline, just a grateful client and the quiet satisfaction of keeping the world running one drain, one valve, one emergency at a time. Now meet Sarah, software developer, smart, disciplined, in demand. At least she used to be. Her tools? A backlit keyboard, a standing desk, 3 monitors, and a pair of noise-canceling headphones. Her hands never touch a pipe, but she keeps systems flowing through APIs, databases, and cloud infrastructure. While Marco works under sinks, Sarah works in the cloud. Her day starts late, runs long, mornings filled with stand-ups and JIRA tickets, afternoons writing back-end logic, building microservices, pushing code to staging. She solves bugs no one else understands. She fixes things the user never sees. Sarah is good at what she does, really good. She speaks JavaScript like it's her native language, can refactor messy code with surgical precision. Her brain, wired to think in logic trees and edge cases. And when things go right, she builds features that serve millions. Her fingerprints are on apps used by people she'll never meet. But for all her skill, there's one thing Sarah can't control: the speed of change. In just 5 years, the landscape has shifted under her feet. What used to be an elite skill set is now just a starting point. There are bootcamp grads applying for senior roles, AI that writes functional code in seconds, CEOs asking why they're paying entire teams. When a prompt gets the job done faster, she's seen friends let go, teams downsized, entire departments folded. Sarah hasn't been laid off yet. But the fear? It's there, lingering, because in tech, you're only as valuable as the next update doesn't make you obsolete. The year is 2035, but the disruption, it started long before that. First, it was automation in factories. Then it hit cashiers, call centers, logistics. Now, it's coming for the keyboard. Artificial intelligence is no longer a future threat. It's here, it's fast, and it's getting smarter every month. In the tech world, AI doesn't just help developers, it replaces them. Sarah used to take pride in her clean, elegant code. Now, a junior product manager can describe a feature, and GPT writes the skeleton in 10 seconds. AI systems are debugged faster than humans, refactoring entire code bases, even shipping updates without anyone touching a terminal. And it's not just ChatGPT, it's Copilot, it's Claude, it's auto-code generators, no-code platforms, drag-and-drop app builders, tools once designed to help developers now threaten to replace them. Why hire a $130,000 developer when a subscription-based bot does the same job overnight? And the worst part, it's not just low-level work that's disappearing. Junior devs, gone. QA testers, replaced. Even mid-level engineers are being asked to do more, with less. Fewer jobs, more pressure, constant learning, and the unspoken fear, will I still be relevant next year? Meanwhile, the plumber's world hasn't changed much at all. Water still leaks, pipes still freeze, toilets still clog after Thanksgiving dinner. You can't ask ChatGPT to fix a burst pipe. You can't outsource a sewer backup to the cloud. And there's no AI that can squeeze under a 50-year-old house, cut a corroded elbow joint, and rethread a copper line by hand, all while the homeowner's screaming about water in their basement because some problems are still too real for robots, too messy, too physical, too human. Let's look past opinion, past the hype, and get into the numbers. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, plumbing jobs are projected to grow by 4% through 2033. Thousands of positions, open, unfilled, and urgently needed. Why? Because infrastructure ages, homes get older, and the next generation isn't signing up to replace the last. The average plumber in America is in his mid-40s. In some states, over 50. That's not a bubble. That's a workforce crisis. And when that workforce retires, someone needs to step up. On the flip side, software development is projected to grow as well. Sounds good, right? Not so fast. Yes, demand still exists, but that demand is being squeezed by artificial intelligence, by global outsourcing, by tech consolidation. There are more coding bootcamp grads now than ever before. More resumes, more competition, and fewer companies willing to hire humans to do what AI can do in a blink. In 2016, Sarah's resume would have had recruiters fighting over her. In 2035, she's one of hundreds applying for the same remote role, competing not just with other people, but with machines. And here's something the data can't show. Plumbers don't get laid off by surprise Zoom calls. They don't get ghosted after 4 interviews. They don't have to build a personal brand on LinkedIn just to stay employable. They build trust. One job, one client, one leak at a time. That's not just job security, that's job ownership. Here's the difference no one talks about. In tech, your skill isn't your edge. The tool is. You're only as good as your stack. React, Python, TensorFlow, Next.js. Today's hot tool is tomorrow's footnote. The language you mastered last year could be irrelevant next quarter. In the software world, tools evolve faster than people. And that means you're always catching up, always learning, always scrambling to stay ahead of the update. One change in framework, and you're a beginner all over again. But in the trades, the fundamentals don't change. Water still flows downhill. Gravity still wins. Pressure still drops if the lines are wrong. A pipe still leaks if the joint isn't clean. The work may change, but the principles, they've stayed the same for decades. And that's where mastery is built, not in tutorials or tool upgrades, but in repetition, in knowing by feel when copper's hot enough to sweat, in sensing a clog by how the pipe vibrates, in trusting your gut on a retrofit no manual prepared you for. This isn't just skill, it's craft. It's wisdom passed from hand to hand. And that kind of knowing doesn't get deprecated, doesn't need version control, it gets sharper with age. So, who wins? The programmer in the glass tower or the plumber in the crawl space? Let's be clear, this isn't a fight between intelligence and labor, or prestige versus practicality. This is about resilience. It's about who survives the storm, who adapts without getting replaced, who stays standing when the world starts shifting beneath their feet. Programmers build the digital world, but that world is increasingly built by machines, by models trained to do what we once thought only humans could do. Plumbers, they build the real world, fix the systems we forget until they break. Step in when the AI can't, when there's 6 inches of sewage on the floor, and someone has to crawl through it to make life livable again. In the race to be future-proof, the plumber's hands hold the edge, because no matter how advanced technology gets, no matter how automated or optimized or cloud-based our lives become, we'll still need hot water, working toilets, running pipes, flowing systems. And when things go wrong, you're not calling your app developer, you're calling Marco. So who wins in 2035? The one who shows up with a wrench, the one no one can replace, the one who builds what still matters and fixes it when it breaks. If you're watching this wondering which path to take, if you're weighing degrees against apprenticeships, screens against steel, just remember this: the future won't only belong to the ones who code it, it will belong to the ones who can keep it running when it breaks. A plumber might not be on the cover of Forbes, but when the pipes freeze, when the pressure drops, when the system fails, he's the one who gets the call. Not because of his social media followers, not because he scaled an app, but because he knows how to fix what matters, and fix it right. Meanwhile, the programmer might build the next big thing, and that's important too. But only one of these jobs is grounded in something you can't replace: human skill, human touch, human presence. So if you've ever felt like choosing the trades made you less respected, less secure, less modern, think again. Because when the robots rise, the plumber still gets paid. When the market crashes, the pipes still burst. When AI takes over the inbox, someone still has to crawl under the house to keep the heat running. And that someone might just be the most future-proof person in the neighborhood. Don't chase status, chase usefulness. Because usefulness never goes out of style, and it never gets automated. This is Blue Collar Rise, stories of grit, of skill, of purpose that can't be replaced. If this story moved you, share it with someone who still thinks trades are just backup plans. and hit subscribe for more voices that build the world with their hands. Because in 2035 and beyond, we'll still need people like Marco. And maybe that person is you.